It's time now to bring up a new person to your presence with a title that he currently has, but certainly not new to the community of Wilkes County, Wilkesboro, North Wilkesboro. Mayor Dale Isom is here. Come on up, Mayor. The First Lady is here too. Hi, Michelle. Give them a big round of applause. Good job.
Thank you, Carl. I was feeling pretty good earlier. It was overcast and breezy, and thought this is going to go really well. But I want to start out by mentioning that I certainly count it a true honor to be asked to speak here today at this dedication ceremony of the Mountain Park Cemetery Military Memorial. To those among us that have worn the U.S. military uniform and served our nation, thank you for your service and welcome. And at this time, I'd ask that you stand if you can and be recognized. Thank you. I'd also like to welcome our elected officials from our towns, county, and state, and ask you to please stand and be recognized. Welcome all. Well, I follow a long list of wonderful speakers that have called attention to those that have worked tirelessly to create this beautiful spot here on this hill in Mountain Park Cemetery. I know that this spot, this memorial, began as a dream of Larry Beatty and soon spread within our town cemetery committee. So to those that dreamed and those that worked to make that dream a reality, thank you. I'd like to recognize the cemetery committee at this time. Sam Call, chairman. I will mention my wife is pretty much a weather person. We're sitting in church this morning. She pulls out her phone and shows me gusts up to 20 miles per hour. So here they are. Sam Call, our chairman. Larry Beatty, our co-chair. James Scott. Carolyn Trukowski. Jody Brown from the Wilkesboro Town Council. Council member Andy Suits. And past member Doug Setzer. And of course our town staff, Haley Ratcliffe and James Minton. Thank you to each of them. Additionally, I want to recognize our dedicated and talented town public works team led by Brian Sievert, with special help from Rory Shaw and Joey Osborne and others. They did much of the construction to make this dream a reality. Thank you to all of these and others that I've not mentioned for your dedication and sacrifice in completion of this beautiful memorial. While I never wore the United States uniform, I come from a family that has and still does. I'd like to recognize my father at this time, Billy Isom, who's with us today for his years of service in the Army. His brother, who's recently passed, Leon Isom, who served in Korea. My brother David, a 35-year Navy SEAL, currently serving as Fleet Master Chief Command Senior Enlisted Leader at United States Indo-Pacific Command. How he gets that on a business card, I'll never know. And his son, my nephew, Kellen Isom, Navy Corpsman Second Class. And I'll say that our family has spent many hours over the years in prayer for family members that have been in harm's way. This dedication ceremony is a time to set apart this place, to honor and memorialize the bravery and sacrifice of military personnel, while also commemorating the rich historical significance of this beautiful Wilkesboro hilltop. In all, some 70 military veterans are buried here among these graves. Andy and I'll debate later, 65 or 70, some dating all the way back to the Civil War. My wife and I, now you're going to find this maybe a little odd, but Michelle and I have spent much time over the years walking through cemeteries. My first job out of college was with the city of Charleston, South Carolina. She worked 1 block away, and so we spent lunch together every day, and we spent much of that time walking the old cemeteries in downtown Charleston. Visiting the graves of those that have gone on before helps us to think about important things. When we stand beside a grave, the brevity of life and the importance of the moment is refreshed in our minds. We regularly visit the resting places of our parents that have passed, taking flowers and sitting and talking. We remember the significant roles they played in our lives and in our children's. Having a special place to reflect and to contemplate is an important location for a community. If we're to remain faithful to our past and renew our dedication to the future, a place like this is where that will begin. She and I visited Gettysburg several years ago, and we were overwhelmed with emotion as we visited the memorials and walked among the stones there. We remembered the dedication speech delivered by President Lincoln, and his words are true today here. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who have given their lives so that this nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. A few years later, we spent a day walking through Arlington and were moved to tears by the endless lines of white markers, the tomb of the unknown soldier, and the John F. Kennedy gravesite. At that moment, she and I weren't wondering about what was on TV or what we were going to have for dinner that night. It's at memorials that important thoughts are pondered. It's at memorials that we're impacted by the past and we make promises for the future. We know that those who served and those that died in service did so for us and for our children, and so we are all connected as family through them. We remember that our freedom was preserved by the sacrifice of those who wore our nation's uniform, and we're reminded that those ideals, those values, are principles that continue today. We find our family at this sacred place. Whether you're related to someone whose name is found here among the stones, we all share in the kinship of being citizens of Wilkes County, of North Carolina, and of this great nation. There are 3 flags that fly proudly above us. They remind us of our connections. These 3 flags carry significant meaning for a place of reflection. The flag of the town of Wilkesboro includes the image of the Tory Oak that was located adjacent to the old Wilkes County Courthouse. This black oak stood in historic downtown Wilkesboro for close to 3 centuries. Most notably, the Tory Oak was used to execute 5 Tories during the American Revolution, and it became a symbol of the fight for freedom. The flag of the great state of North Carolina includes a single star. This star speaks to our states, one as being one of the original 13 colonies and later 13 states. Additionally, the flag contains 2 dates. The first date, the top date, is that of the Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence. This declaration preceded the Declaration of Independence by more than a year and was signed by a committee of citizens in Charlotte, North Carolina. The second date is that of the adoption of the Halifax Resolves by the North Carolina Provincial Congress. The adoption of the resolution was the first official action of the American colonies calling for independence from Great Britain during the American Revolution. The Halifax Resolve helped pave the way for the presentation to Congress of the United States Declaration of Independence less than 3 months later. And of course, the last flag is Old Glory, the American flag. Our American flag contains 13 horizontal stripes of red and white, each stripe in honor of the original 13 states of the Union. The original flag contained 13 stars as well, but over the years, as the nation has grown and states added, the number increased to what we see today, 50 stars, one for each state in our Union. Our nation's flag has accompanied us into battle and been worn on our soldiers' uniforms. Today, as we dedicate this place, we stand under these 3 flags of freedom, each one declaring our heritage and our independence. They are symbols of who we are as a people of Wilkesboro, of North Carolina and of the United States of America. I encourage our young folks to visit this memorial often. It belongs to you too. You will find here those that lived the stories that you've learned about or you will learn about in your history books. Places like Gettysburg and Shiloh and San Juan Hill and the trenches of France, the beaches of Normandy, Pearl Harbor, Okinawa, Japan, Korea, Vietnam. When you study those places, think of this place. Think about the men and women who fought and those that died at places with those names. Freedom isn't free, and multiplied millions of Americans have paid the price so that you can make the choices that freedom allows. I also encourage our young folks to preserve this place for the generations that come after you. View it as the sacred place that it is. When you grow up, bring your children and your grandchildren here and remind them of the cost of freedom and the joy of service. As our Savior Jesus once told his disciples, I didn't come to be served, but to serve and to give my life as a ransom for many. We find our true selves and meaning in our lives when we give ourselves in service to others. The people that this place memorialized came from all walks of life, but they all share some important qualities: courage, pride, determination, selflessness, dedication to duty and integrity. And it is these values, these traits, that are needed to serve a cause greater than oneself. I encourage everyone to come and sit or just walk around the memorial to be renewed in spirit by this place. Soak in the sacredness of it all. Let it surround you until you're filled with its importance and greatness. And so now we dedicate this site as a sacred place in Wilkesboro, where people will gather to take pictures, where veterans will gather to share experiences with each other, or to sit alone to ponder thoughts they can never share with another person. We dedicate this memorial as a place to heal our souls and refresh our spirits. We dedicate this memorial as a place where children will learn lessons of freedom from their parents and grandparents. We dedicate this memorial as a place where those coming after us will recognize those who have sacrificed so much for our freedom. Tonight, when we lay our heads down on our pillows, may we thank our Father in heaven for the freedom we enjoy here today and ask God's protection on all those serving our nation this very day all around the world. And may God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.